Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to be talking about social anxiety in school and how the dress code is kind of biased. With school right around the corner, I felt like this would be a good time to discuss this and see what y'all think about it. We've had a lot of new subscribers over the last few days and I want to get a feel of what you guys think of it. So if you come across this video, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell because I post these fairly often. So yeah, let's get right into the video, guys. Okay guys, so with school right around the corner, a lot of stressors come up for some people. Me personally, I don't really have social anxiety as much as I just don't like all the drama people cause. So it's a little different for me, but there's a lot of people that just suffer from social anxiety, or they get overwhelmed and stressed and they don't really know how to cope with it. So I'm going to give you guys some tips on how I got over my social anxiety, because back in middle school and freshman year, I had a lot of anxiety about school. I was not doing well in school. So I figured I'd share with you guys how I improved. Something that I learned was to just stop caring, not about your schoolwork, but about everything else. Some people seem to forget that you all come to school for one reason, to do your work and to supposedly learn. I'm not going to do those cliches where like, oh, everybody's there to learn. No, basically you just got to do your work and pass. People make that difficult though, because people add all the social aspect to school, which is good, but then people completely abandon the whole academic aspect, and that's where people fail. You have to have a balance between your academic life and your social life. Now, me personally, I always struggled with that. This year, however, I think I figured out a way to eliminate the bad social aspect by basically just cutting so many people out. I made a drastic change. You don't always have to be so drastic, but me personally, I left like 8 people in my group, and 8 people that will motivate me, not just talk to me. So, you know, especially Caitlin. Caitlin motivates me every day. She motivated me to do this video because I was too tired to do it. So, you have to find your motivation. I'm trying to figure out how to explain this because I'm not really good at explaining some things. You have to be able to realize that school isn't going to last forever and you have to make the most of it. Now, that sounds very cliche, but it's true, because regardless of whether you like school, you love school, you hate school, you want to go be in school, it doesn't matter. You have to be there, you have to pass. So there are a few ways that you can make your time in school less crappy. First things first, like I said, you have to have a balance. Now you're probably thinking, well, that's easier said than done. You can't just have a balance. You can. When you start the year, set the tone for the year. Now, maybe not just starting with the first day. That first week, you set the tone for the rest of your year. If you start that year being a social butterfly, like a super social butterfly, everybody's going to expect you to be a social butterfly for the rest of the year. If you want to focus on school and getting into a good college, yes, you want to be social. Don't be closed off and boring, but don't be that guy that literally everybody in the school knows. Like, you don't have to be. It doesn't have to be like that. You could still have fun and be popular without having 90 million people blowing up your phone all the time. You can have that balance. Last year I had a bad balance. I had too much of a social life and not enough of an academic life. I passed everything. I had all 80s and 90s. I did fairly decent because somehow I am smart. I don't know how. But some people, that's not always as easy. Some people can't just show up to class late like I do and figure everything out in the first 5 minutes and then be like, alright, I'm good. Some people can't do that. I was kind of blessed that I had some classes I could do that in, like U.S. history. U.S. history was really easy to do. Kid, I wasn't even there some days. But some classes you have to You have to really, like, try. Like, this year I imagine I'm going to have, like, physics and stuff. I'm going to have to try a little bit. And I might have struggles with that. And as I go through the year, I'll make videos on how keeping you guys updated, because I don't want you to seem like, oh, I'm this perfect person that has all the answers. I don't have all the answers. I'm pretty much telling you as I go. So what works for me might not work for you, and what works for you might not work for me. So it's all give and take. That's with any channel, though. Nobody has 100% successful advice. So basically, take the time, figure out your balance, and continue on with your little life there. I mean, it's basically the first big step. Second step would definitely be to figure out what you want to be known as. Like, do you want to be known as the jock? Do you want to be known as that smart, funny girl? Do you want to be known as that guy that's pretty chill, kind of a class clown, but also knows what he's doing? Do you want to be known as the idiot? Like, you gotta, like I said, the first week of school, really the first week of your first year of high school sets the tone. If you have a bad tone in ninth grade, or whatever year is freshman for you guys, you're pretty much screwed for the rest of high school. So you got to be careful of that. So be careful of what sets your tone for high school. For you incoming freshmen, it's difficult to be a freshman because you're in a new environment. A lot of you are in a new building. Me personally, in upstate New York, we have different school districts, but we all basically transfer to a high school from 8th grade on. 8th grade is our last year of middle school here. I don't know what it's like for you guys. Comment down below. But once you're going into a new building, it's exciting. There's a lot of new people you're meeting. You sometimes lose sight of the academics when you have all these new people you can chill with, you vibe with, but you have to learn how to balance that. It's great to make new friends and have this big group, but you also have to set the tone. If you play sports, even better. But you just have to set the tone for your year. I know I keep saying that, but it's important because you want to set the tone not just for other people, but for yourself. Because once you set it, you can just follow it all the way through. Keep riding that train. I mean, some things happen and it breaks, but I mean, for the most part, if you keep following that railroad, you're fine. Just ride the train. You just have to set the train in the right direction. Handling stress is a little bit harder. Me personally, I find that so I have public speaking anxiety. So, like, when I have to do presentations and projects, I hate it because I know what I'm talking about and I know what I'm doing. It's just, I panic, and that's a struggle. And I know a lot of you incoming freshmen who are not used to having to do presentations, a lot of you are going to have to do that in freshman year because the teachers put it in the curriculum. I know, I can't believe I know what that means, to have you start public speaking because they know a lot of kids are afraid of that. So they want to push you. Now, some teachers are better than others. Some teachers will kind of ease you into it, or some teachers are chill. They'll make jokes, kind of like ease the class up a little bit. But some teachers just throw you in and say, you're going to have to do this. So it's hard depending on stress in school comes in many different forms. If you have stress from, like, schoolwork, set like a schedule for yourself. Say, like, all right, I have 3 pages of math homework, I have to read this thing for English, and I have to study for a test for social studies. Set a time. If you play sports after school, you have less time, but you don't have to cram it all at once. Just take your time. Don't stress. Don't be like, all these things are overwhelming, because basically you're the one that's overwhelming yourself most of the time. Most teachers give you a fair amount of work that is stressful, but if you handle it properly, it's not a big deal, because, I mean, people do it, so it's not impossible. It's just difficult. You just have to learn time management. And I will be talking about in a future video on the dress code. I'm not going to do it in this video. I thought I was, but that's too much to talk about. So I figure I'll probably end it here. But those are basically a few tips. Like, set the tone for your year. Be productive, and just follow what you want to be. Don't worry about what other people want you to be. Just be what you want to be. If you want to be like a nerd, so to speak, be a nerd. Go for it. Be yourself. Don't let people change you. That's the one thing high school ruins for people. It makes you become what they want you to become. Don't lose your self-identity. Losing your self-identity is the worst thing that can happen, because when you get into college and no one's pushing you anymore, you don't know what to do, because whatever you were in high school, you try to be in college, and I'm not in college yet, but I could tell you that's probably not going to work. So, I mean, you just kind of have to be yourself. Being yourself is the easiest thing you can be. So, be yourself, take it easy. Schools for us starts in like 2 weeks, September 4th or 5th. Just take it easy, guys. It's going to be okay. If you like this video, like, subscribe. I'll leave my Instagram down below. If you feel free to hit me up for tips, or if you're stressed about stuff. And yeah, I'll be posting this video pretty soon, and I'll have another one up today. So peace out, guys. Love you.